Hi everyone, my name is Sean Lam and I'm a manga artist as well as a comic artist. Comic book actually, because when I first ventured into the comics industry, I started off with Japan. That was many years back. So my first venture was in Japan to pursue this career as a comic artist. And over there, I'm actually called a mangaka. It's actually a Japanese translation of comic artist. So I went in Japan for a very short stint because before that, okay, let's go back to where I first started off. I majored in arts in NAFA, Singapore Nanyang Academy for Fine Arts, and gathered my portfolio as I work on creating my own comics and writing my stories. And with that, I sent my resume to various publishers at that time when I was still very young. And right after, I was headhunted by this American publisher in America. They were actually looking for a comic artist who is versed in manga style from Asia to collaborate with some of them writers, novelists. So they actually they were actually interested in getting me on board to collab with this German writer to work on a pretty long story, an apocalyptic story set in America. So in order to draw that comic, or rather, they wanted it to be a fusion of manga and Western style. So that's where I can come in and contribute, because I'm actually probably versed in both manga as well as American style when it comes to drawing. So yeah, so that's where that's how I moved to States, because back then a lot of research and all these cultural references. Because of all this, I have to stay in the States to work on this long-term project. So after moving to States, I continue to work on comics, and It Takes a Wizard is my very first American comic done in manga style, but with setting in America. Right after, I was given a very huge chance to work with this very renowned novelist. His name is called Larry Niven, who is actually famous for his science fiction novels. He actually wanted to adapt his books into a graphic novel, and we collaborated. And I had to read his entire book series, and then to rework on into a comic strip, and together we took quite a while. But eventually we managed to produce this two-part series of Ringworld in graphic novel form. And after that, I continued to work in States with various publishers. Macmillan is one of my biggest publishers who I've been working with for so long until today. Ringworld was really considered a big success, and it was my biggest honor to be able to work with such a amazing author. And right after, I continued to produce more comic books with not just Macmillan, my main publisher, but as well as some other publishers. One of them being a biblical publisher, where they wanted me to produce comic books with positive messages and good morals and stuff. and I was more than happy to actually work on this such a meaningful series. So I managed. So what I did was, from there on, I actually created a series of really positive comics. And for so many years, working with various writers and all this collaboration and Japan these days, I have always been trying to slot in time to work on my own because since like I said, since young I've been also writing my own stories. But ever since I pursued this career, that I realized that I didn't actually have enough time on my own to create my very own comics, although I have written many stories. So I guess I have to thank COVID, because I was back in Singapore during COVID, and that was the time where I was given a lot of freedom of time to work on to take a long break, and it was a chance for me to finally be able to sit down and try to produce my own comics. And one of my very first comic that I have been writing for so long is one that I created a local setting set in Singapore. That was one of my very first story that I wrote. It's actually a Singapore story with elements of or things that I used to enjoy, and one of them being vampires. So I actually put in these vampires into our country in my story.
How did you get the idea to create Geungsi Comics? Has anyone inspired you? So I don't think it's COVID inspired you.
No, COVID didn't inspire me. COVID actually gave me the chance to sit down and really produce this comic that I have been working on. I've been writing on for so long. Because during my stay in States, right? I mean, back in Japan, I was really amazed by all the various genres in comics, like folklore and all this. Even horror, they actually managed to create comics out of all this. And in States, vampires and stuff. And of course, during my stay in States, I always thought that vampires and zombies are really popular for many years. But there is something that I remembered I used to enjoy our own Asian horror and folklores too, and Jiangshi is one of them.
Especially those Hong Kong movies always have.
Yes, like those hopping vampires. Back in the 90s, right? We used to love all these Hong Kong movies, and the trend seems to die down, and youngsters nowadays may not even know what Jiangshi is. So I thought that it would be interesting if I can, write a story set in Singapore and put Jiangshi into our country, into the society, where I actually create my own version of this Jiangshi. So in a way, my Jiangshi is like just like vampires. They live amongst humans. They are just like humans, So I was like imagining, if there are people around us, our friends, and even families or relatives who are Jiangshi, but yet we do not know them. And what will this bring about? I'm looking at more than just enjoying this, horror thing. I'm also looking at societal issues. Like, given immortality, what would you use it for? For any age, from young to old, if you're given immortality and superhuman powers, strength and speed, what would you make use of? Your newfound, form or identity. Writing this story and finally producing this local series. Treat it as an infection, like it's something in your blood. It's a virus or something, something going on, and in order to turn someone into a Jiangshi, a Geungsi, right? There has to be blood transfusion. So it's not just biting someone, but
that virus, right? You can't just transfer, but someone has to be dead to be able to revive as a jiangshi. So first you have to transfer blood, and then you have to kill that someone who got the virus, and that virus inside will actually activate itself and turn him into a jiangshi. So he will be reborn as a jiangshi, but yet he will retain all his memories. So it's like he can just continue as a human, but from then on, he's got to suck on blood to survive. So I'm mixing elements of Eastern and Western, all these elements into my jiangshi to make it more believable in a way. So what I'm trying to do here is to create a comic, a manga, where I can, as much as I can enjoy that, the crazy, but at the same time, to also, like I said, touch on society issues, to show not just that, but also our culture and stuff, hopefully share with more, beyond just our shores, to the Western market as well, to the rest of the world who do not know what jiangshi or even Singapore, to get to know more about Singapore as well, I feel.
So how many comics have you published so far?
My very own, I think Geungsi is my first, my very own first comic. Yeah, debut.
So do you have any plans like for this jiangshi volume? How many you intend to have it?
I have no idea, because the way I work on it is, I've written quite a bit, and but I'm also hoping that I won't overstretch on this entire series. Like for now, as for the main series, the Singapore setting, right? I do have 2 books already done here, followed by a prequel, as well as a spin-off. So I'm in the midst of prepping the next book, but from what I see, is the story is gonna reach its peak, and then followed by this finale pretty soon. Because at the same time, it's not just all about jiangshi. Because I'm also hoping to more new titles, local works besides jiangshi.
So any upcoming comics or plans for yourself?
Yes, but no spoilers. So yes, I'm already working on new titles, and hopefully I can share with everyone very soon.
So the new titles will be somehow related to a bit adventure or like fantasy or any genre?
I would say I like to try anything. So to me, fantasy is one of my favorite, paranormal, but also at the same time, I love stories, some detective as well. So I would love to try on all sorts of genre, and yeah.
So currently you don't have any intentions to go overboard for any projects or anything?
Ever since COVID, right, we are able to work remotely, and I'm given more space now. Aside from working with my main publishers or even some other writers, I now have time for myself. So I really cherish the time, the space I was given
During the COVID time?
Until now. And I'm hoping to really make good use of all this time to try to push out more of my own works, and also local comic books.
That means in comparison when you're in the States and in SG, more time freedom for you is more on SG side. Which means during COVID you are already in Singapore to do your own stuff. So when in States, is it very busy when you're in States doing a lot of work?
Not exactly very busy, but I was juggling between a couple of titles at the same time.
At the same time?
Yeah, that's why I was.
So roughly, how many titles you are going to juggle? For example, on hand, let's say, is it more than 2 or 3?
Sometimes about 2 to 3. Yeah, most of the time actually 2 to 3.
Actually, recently, I guess that you have heard about AIs. So it's quite now a trend. A lot of people are talking about the AI arts. So what do you think of AI to you? Is it a threat or a reference?
A threat?
These questions is a lot of artists. It's like,
Really?
yeah.
I personally feel that AI is a very good assistant and supporting tool for artists and creators. Because as an artist, as a story writer, right, we tend to have to all the time search for references and Google for facts and stuff, and it is really time consuming when we do that. When we find images, when we we write a story, right? We need to often check the facts before we put them in, and AI just helps us shorten this by a lot. So they're like your personal assistant. Like I need to ask something, I need to check on certain facts. Instead of Googling and reading a lot, doing a lot of study, I can now just ask AI, and AI will just tell me exactly what I need. Same for references, like images. Like if I need to draw something, especially when we are drawing realism or whatever, we need to find, like, if I were to draw a certain street scene, I would have to make sure I have to Google, and I would look at like hundreds of images, and I wouldn't know which one is actually the one that I need. So AI comes in and actually help me just shuffle all this and brings me the actual one that I really need. So references, I think AI is a good tool for that.
So you agree is that the AI does have its benefits for artists who have some
Biggest benefit, like I said, is to shorten our work time, the workload. Like, shorten a lot, especially when we spend so much time on all this.
But after like researching the AI, so you still have to go into it and to see how to
But you cannot totally rely on AI, exactly. So once they gather that for you, you still have to do the actual factual, all this to check whether it's really correct. What AI gave you is really correct. Yeah, but at least they do help you shorten that.
It's just like an encyclopedia.
A walking, your personal encyclopedia, your personal assistant. Yeah.
Previous those manga artists, they have to go overseas for research purposes. They have to go overseas just to take photos and take all the references. Because what their references being able to get is from libraries, reference books for all the manga classes.
Exactly, and that takes a lot of time.
Yeah, compared to right now, the recent technologies is that a lot of times is that AI can give a lot of ideas, answers, and even better references which you cannot imagine.
Exactly.
So you think that AI somehow can benefit humans, but not totally rely on them. It's just that using them as a reference tool to help on the project.
You have to look at them as a tool, as a support. They are never to replace you, but they are to help you, to assist you. Yeah, to shorten the time that you need to spend on your work.
So sure, because we know that coming up there will be more talents who want to go for comics industrial. So if you have any advice for them to as a startup, as a beginner, what should they try to avoid, or what should they try to pursue if they are going to be a comic artist?
If they want to be a comic artist. Until today, no change. They still have to do what I did before. Is first of all to create your own comic, to have a ready work to share. You need a portfolio. It will be a resume. Either you want to publish it or to propose to any publishers. You have to have something to show, and that is what you need to do. So put aside all your plannings or anything, just create. and get a ready story, a product to share, to show to everyone. That's most important.